Okay, ladies. Wishing you the good practice today. Last one before Halloween. And we're going to have a Halloween practice. We're going to go through some scary and hopefully funny moves here. Remember, make this your practice. Try to be as cognizant of your body. Don't do anything that your body doesn't want to today. And you know your body best. You know, pain's not no gain. Sensations are good, but we're not striving for pain here. We will need a block if you have a rolled up blanket and or a bolster would come in handy. And we're going to start today in corpse pose. We're going to come down on our backs. And just take a moment to arrive. Again, Halloween, corpse pose, good one to start. In Shavasana, as we say for the yogis, palms are up, arms up besides the body, and just start taking deep breaths and arriving on your mat. Just leave everything that doesn't serve you, that has happened or not happened today behind, and only take with you to your mat what you need during this practice. And then slowly inhaling your arms overhead, give yourself a nice, good evening stretch. Toes away, fingers away, deep, 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 deep stretch. Inhaling deeply and then let it all go. And then we're going to move our feet over to the right corner of the mat and moving the arms over, coming into this half moon or banana shape. Because of it being Halloween practice, we're going to do a lot of moon or moon-like poses here. But don't worry, we're not going to howl at the moon. Just keep breathing here. Lengthening through the side bodies. And then inhaling back through center. Exhaling, letting go. And then moving the feet over to the left corner, right hand, left hand over. Into half moon shape on the other side. Let the jaw go, let the neck go, totally relax here. And then coming back through the middle. Inhaling knees into the chest, give yourself a nice little squeeze here. And then inhaling legs up, arms up, coming in for dead bug. Fingers spread wide, toes spread wide. If you want a little bit more heat in that dead bug, might be cold, you can move your arms a little bit further, legs down, but make sure the flat of your back is staying on the mat. Don't lift up, pressing the belly button in, and then bring your knees back into your chest. Feet plant, hips width apart on the mat. Sitting up for a little bit of the bridge flow to warm up. I mean, the dead bug should have gotten a little bit of heat going here. And don't worry, we're going to come back to it again. It's Halloween. And then on an inhale, little pelvic tilt, little cat in the back. Rolling up with the pelvis, pressing belly button on the mat, and on the exhale, letting that go. One more time, arms up besides the body, shoulders are walking in. Inhaling, lifting up just with the hips ever so slightly, rolling in the pelvis. belly button on the mat. You can also use Mula Bandha, pressing up, pulling up through the internal abdominals. Body lock, letting all go. And on the next inhale, we'll take in Mula Bandha, pulling up through the internal abdominals and lifting up our hips all the way into bridge pose. If you need to put a block underneath, that's fine. If you need to come down, come down. If you like to stay up, you can stay up. And then exhaling, slowly coming down. Taking a breath here. Stretching out your feet again. I think we lost somebody here. I heard somebody drop. No, you didn't drop somebody. Sorry. I thought you dropped somebody. Coming back into a nice stretch here. And then inhaling the feet into the chest one more time. And then bringing up the heels towards the sky and waterfall pose. And again, the arms up, and this time we're going to go into confused butterfly, spreading the feet wide, the arms wide, crossing feet over, arms cross over. Inhaling, open up through the legs and the arms. Exhaling, crossing over the confused butterfly. Out the legs one more time, bringing legs and arms in. And the knees come back to the chest. So we're going to do a couple of variations of poses. Plant your feet on the mat, mats width apart, arms into a T. Or if you like to, you can bring it into scarecrow or cactus. And then windshield vibrating the knees back and forth, bringing some fluids into our hip joints. Get moving here. And then let the knees drop over to the right. The head can come over to the left. Warming up twist here. Inhaling knees back up and dropping them over to the left side. Head goes over to the opposite side. Coming back up through center. Knees back in the chest. Give yourself a nice hug here. And then make your way, favorite side or rock and roll on the spine into a seated position. And because it's Halloween, when we have arrived into our seated position, we're going to go through a few rounds of stirring the cauldron. You know, there's torso or suphi grinds. Let's circle around the base of our spine. Being in easy pose. You can also sit on a blanket if that's better for your knees or your hips. And just doing a few torso circles involving the head or not. Make them as big as you like to or as small, and then reversing. Feeling good. And then coming to stillness. Inhaling the arms up. Making claws with your fingers, pulling the shoulder blades together, coming into zombie pose. Or some people say werewolf pose. Pulling shoulder blades in. You used to call that as cactus. Really make claws with your fingers. Inhaling back up. Keeping the claws and folding gently forward into a variation of spider pose. Letting the head hang. And slowly rolling up. Straightening the right leg. Keeping the left one on the inside. Moving your hips towards your foot, your right foot. Bringing the toes in. Inhaling, arms up. Hinging at the hips. Planting the hands left and right of the leg. Inhaling up and folding a little deeper through the hips, and then letting the head go. Staying here for just a few moments. And then rolling back up. And now bringing that leg to the other side. Bring it, if you had it on top, bring it below. Coming in to easy pose with the cross different to balance things out. Hands on knees. And let's stir that witch's cauldron a little bit. Let's stir it up. Hot. Rolling on the spine, making nice circles. As I said, if you'd like to stay small, stay small. Just remember, this is your practice. Do whatever feels good to you. And then reversing. All good here. And then inhaling the arms up, coming into cactus or zombie pose. Let's show our claws here, pulling the back part of our shoulders together, chin slightly up. Inhaling, arms back up and coming forward, folding over our legs. Letting the shoulders go, let the head go. You don't have to go far if it's uncomfortable. And then slowly rolling up, bringing the left foot out. My timer is doing something it's not supposed to do. Bringing the left foot out, right foot in. Hips are pointing towards the toes. Inhaling, arms up, hinging at the hip. Coming, folding in over that leg, keeping the toes engaged to protect the lower back. Inhaling up and then exhaling, folding a little deeper out of the hip joint. Don't forget to breathe and always relax through the jaw. Rolling back up. Bringing your feet in, bringing them beside you and underneath you, and come onto hands and knees. Obviously, Halloween, we have to do a few cat cows, the angry cat. Inhaling, coming into cow. Exhaling, belly button in, coming to angry cat. And if you have any anger, just use that pose to let it go. Inhaling, leading with the hips, let the belly button drop, spread the collarbones wide, chin up. Cow, shoulders away from ears. Exhaling deeply, coming into the angry cat. One more time, let the belly button drop. Really enjoying this movement here. Exhaling, coming in, cat. And then tucking the toes and maybe moving our knees a little wider. Sinking back with our hips on towards our heels or on a block. Bringing your hands out, and you might even tent them, like showing your claws again. Coming into a baby coyote pose. Head is down. If this is too much for you in your arms, you can always come into a regular child's pose or bring your knees closer together. Resting here for just a moment. And then inhaling, coming up onto hands and knees, hinging at the elbows, lowering ourselves down onto our tummy. Bringing the feet together, pressing in with the tops of our feet. So maybe even our knees might lift up a little bit, moving our elbows and the shoulders, coming up into Sphinx pose. I'm really enjoying that stillness with the things. Very mythological figure things. Heart shines forward, collarbone spreads wide. Exhaling, coming back down, using your hands, pulling yourself up, bringing your knees together this time, rolling hips back, coming into child variation or dino egg pose here. Really making this as small as possible, leaving the shoulders open to hang. I'm taking a moment to take a breather and rest. Inhaling, using your hands, push yourself up, coming into low Tadasana, hands on hip, right foot steps forward, sinking into that deep lunge here. Hands frame the right foot, and just taking a moment here to get that inner groin going here. Stretching through the quad of the back foot, letting your neck relax. And then walking our way back into an Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits, nose to toes, collarbone opens wide, and you know you can always use blocks left and right. Retracing the steps, tucking the left foot, right foot comes back into plank pose. You can bring knees up, down, belly button in, shoulders away from the ears, dropping your knees, rolling yourself back up into low Tadasana. Hands besides the body, shoulders away from ears. Arriving. Hands on hips. Left foot comes forward. Sinking deep into that low lunge. Hands frame the left foot. And again, let's give our body a few minutes to adjust here. There's really not much doing here, holding our balance, but no forcing. And then slowly walking our way back into Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Spreading your collarbone wide. Again, if you have blocks or anything to bring the ground closer to you, feel free. Left hip crease melts back. Breathing into that hamstring here. And then slowly retracing our steps. Tucking the right toe, coming into that runner's lunge for just a moment. Bringing the left foot back, plank. And we make our way into downward facing dog. And from there, through a way by a coyote, we're going to come into forward fold and ragdoll Martha. Bring the weight into your heels, fingers spread wide, collarbone spreads wide, head hangs loose. Little hips lift up to the sky, coming to stillness in downward facing dog. And if you like to, you can bring your weight into your right foot and bring the left foot behind, and we're coming into a running coyote pose here. Staying here for a breath. And then bring the left foot to meet the right, ground it deeply. And then bring the right foot behind the left. And then right foot meets left. Deep bend into the knee, and then baby steps, walk yourself in between your hands. Well, let's come into ragdoll. Just let everything go. Maybe even bend your knees deeper. Give your lower back a little break here. Let it stretch out, let your neck hang heavy. Maybe a little bounce in here. And then slowly inhaling, gliding our hands up our shins, coming into Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Flat back. And on an exhale, let everything go, fold over the legs. And the next inhale, we slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. We have different ways to come up. We can either roll up or we can come through our hip and do a reverse swan dive. There's multiple ways that we are all ending up in Tadasana again. And now we're going to get a little bit more funky. We're going to do a couple of half sun salutes and incorporate a couple of Halloween poses. Want to remind you on the pose, interlacing your fingers, interlacing your thumb, and point your fingers up. Inhaling the arms up, interlacing your hands, point your fingers up, sinking your hips back into chair or witch on a broomstick. So let that witch sit on that broomstick here. Make sure we still see our toes here in this chair. And then we're going to let everything go into a forward fold. Inhaling up halfway lift. Exhaling, folding. And then you can either roll up or reverse swan dive, circle like the moon or the sun, and hands come through center, Samastiti. Inhaling the arms up. Right hand drops, half moon to the right, standing up. Stretching through the right side. Let's try not to collapse into the left shoulder. Right hand glides down. And then we're going to inhale, right arm up, interlacing the hands, steeple grip. Hinging at the hips, witch on the broomstick, holding on that broomstick here, sitting in chair pose. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. Really root your feet down, root to rise. Hands come through heart center. Same thing on the other side. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, left arm down. Half moon on the other side. Inhaling, right arm up, steeple grip, hinging the hips, really coming out in chair pose or witch on a broomstick. Exhaling, forward and fold. Inhaling up halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Going to go through a little funky warrior sequence here. Stay at the top of your mat, hands on hips, left foot steps back, 45-degree ankle. Hips are on towards the long side of the mat, opening the arms up, gaze over the left middle finger, warrior two. And now we're gonna hold onto a glass here. I'm going to do the drinker. Let's have a sip here. The drinker. Exhaling, warrior two again. Reversing our warrior. Coming back through warrior two. Let's do one more drinker here. Let's bring that glass up. Exhaling, warrior two, straightening through the left leg. Hinging over, turning into triangle, opening up through the right hip. Left hand is on the ankle or on the inside or the outside on a block. Try not to collapse with your right shoulder or candy corn pose. Looks kind of like a candy corn between our feet here. So from drinker to the candy corn, that's our food flow here, or bending through the right leg, coming back up, holding the glass again, taking another sip, hands on hips, bring your feet forward, toes up parallel with the short side of the mat, hands on hips, or let your hands actually glide down on the outside of your feet, coming in a wide-legged forward fold, and then take your hands again into that claw, cross them over and come into spider pose. Let your head hang heavy, and your arms are crossed and you're on your fingertips. If that's too much for you, you can bring your hands right underneath. Spider pose. Yes, if we have food and drink, the spiders are not far. They want to participate. Inhaling, coming back up. And we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. Tells me my battery is running low. Need to plug my computer in. That was not foreseen here. Good, we're done. Going to do the same sequence on the other side. Right foot forward, left foot 45-degree angle. Warrior two, gazing over the right middle finger, holding onto that glass, coming into the drinker pose. Take a sip, enjoy that. Coming back into warrior two, reversing our warrior, peaceful warrior. Back into warrior two, weight is evenly distributed between both legs. Razor edge of the left foot is pressing onto the mat. Holding onto that glass one more time. Let's take another sip into the drinker pose. Exhaling back, warrior two, straightening through the right legs. Leading with the right hand and then turning into triangle or candy corn pose. I need to remember that. It's a new one. Lining up your right thumb with your mouth. Micro bend in the right leg. One more breath here. Bending through the right leg, coming back up into warrior two, holding onto the glass, taking a sip in drinker. Coming back, hands on hips. Now bringing your feet to the outside, coming into goddess pose. Back up, star pose. And then bringing your feet back together to the back front of the mat. Now we are going to inhaling up, exhaling, coming into scarecrow. Bringing your shoulder blades together, arms up in 90-degree angle here, cactusing or scarecrow. And stay a moment here to be still in scarecrow. Really working those shoulders here. And then inhaling the arms back up, steeple grip, coming on the broomstick, here in the chair or which on a broomstick. And then from here, bring your hands back. We're gonna fly the switch. Bring the hands back into airplane. Weight is in the right foot, left foot lifts up and comes out. Into a warrior three pose. Or flying witch. We're flying the switch here. If you need to bring your foot down, please feel free to do so. Everybody coming back up, both feet together, let everything go. Inhaling, arms up. Let's do a quick half sun salute to reset. Forward and fold. Inhaling up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All the way up, not a full vinyasa. Exhaling, coming back in the scarecrow here. Palms are facing forward. Shoulder blades are moving in, belly button is in, head is up. Taking a moment here to stay. Inhaling the arms up. Hands come together, steeple grip. Sitting deep here into our wedge on the broomstick. And then bring your arms back into airplane. We're going to fly that wedge. Left foot grounds, right foot lifts up. You can just kickstand it or bring it up in the air into warrior three, balancing here. Oh, I was looking at the video. That's not a good idea. Oh. And then coming back. And enjoy the feeling to be on both feet. We have one little more flow left. Bring your block to the top of the mat, and then we need it at the bottom of the mat. Hands come on the hips. Right foot steps back. Coming back into warrior two. Again, taking a drink here, coming into drinker. Really stay stable, strong legs, strong arms. Arm comes back out, reversing our warrior. Peaceful warrior, Virabhadrasana 2. Windmilling the arms over, coming into extended side angle. And this is a good place to be, but at least I wanted to offer it before Halloween. If you have your block in front of you, I invite you to come into half moon. And if you like to, you can come into full moon. Yogi's choice here. Side angle, half moon, or full moon. And then we come back up. Warrior two, we worked hard. Let's have another sip here, your drinker. Arms come back out. Reversing our warrior. And then back into star pose. Toes up, pointing to the long side of the mat. If you only had one block, move it to the top of the mat. If you want to go into half moon, hands on hips, toes forward, slightly pitch and toe. Either arms glide down the legs or come forward. Make your claws, show your claws here. Crisscross your arms. If you can't remember which one was in front, do the other one just for balance sake. Coming into spider. Remember, if you do those inversions, head down, and you ever get dizzy coming up, keep your chin on your chest coming up. And please make sure you don't have any contradictions or contraindications coming to inversions. Inhaling, coming back up. Turning the right foot forward, coming into warrior two here. Again, let's take a sip. Come into the drinker, hold on to that glass, the drinker. Back into warrior two. Reversing our warrior. Windmilling the arms down into extended side angle. Stable foundation here. And then from here, if you like to, you can lift up and come into half moon. Start to talk. And if you like to, you can come, sorry, my balance is off today. You can come into full moon. Any position in between is good. And then we come back out. I said, do as you do. Don't you do as I just did. But we all have days where certain balances don't work. Come to the middle. Bring your toes up. And we come into goddess. That's the nice thing. Poses will always be there. We just fall out. Say, so what? Smile and come back in. Coming up into star pose. And making our way back to the mat. And then from here, we're going to make our way slowly back onto the floor. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling forward and fold. Inhaling up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands on hips. Left foot steps back. Right foot steps plank. Knees up or down, strong arms, strong legs, strong core, belly button in. Knees drop down. And we're going to roll up into Tadasana. We're going to set up our back bend for camel pose. Bring your hands behind you. Fingers are pointing down, elbows are in. Pulling up through the internal abdominals and starting your back bend in the upper back, not in the lower back. Taking a breath here in camel. Gaze floats up. If you like to come out, we're going to do this one more time. Holding up all the abdominals, Mula Bandha, elbows come together, fingers point down. Safe back bending here. Only go as far as you can. If you like to, you can come into full camel, but that's optional. Wherever you are, come back out, untuck toes. And we come back into child's pose. Knees can be wide or can be close together. Arms can be out, can be closed, whatever feels good. Just resting in child's pose. Slowing down. And coming back up. Move your feet in front of you. Bring your toes in. Sitting up straight, maybe moving the fleshy parts away. Inhaling up, hinging up the hips. Forward and fold. Micro bend in the knees. Inhaling up, exhaling, folding out of the hip crease a little deeper. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And then slowly rolling back up. And we're going to make our way on our back. Bring your feet beside you. Slowly, ever so slowly roll down. If you have a weak lower back, please move through your favorite side until you end up on your back. And when we have arrived, let's give ourselves a nice big stretch. And then exhaling, pulling the elbows in, shoulders walk in, coming into scarecrow supine for just a moment. And taking a few breaths here. Gentle opening through the front, through the fifth chakra here, the throat chakra, through the collarbone. And then inhaling the arms back up. Bringing the knees into the chest, and I've promised you we're going to do one more dead bug. Bring your arms up, legs up. This is perfectly fine to stay here. Or you can open up with your legs and your arms a little bit more for a little bit more heat. Make sure your low back stays on the mat. Pressing belly button in, and then everybody let go, bringing the knees back in. Giving yourself a nice little hug here. Maybe a little bit rocking from side to side. Arms come in a T, legs move over to the right side. Head goes to the opposite side. If you'd like to put a block in between, that sometimes feels really good when we do that twist. Inhaling the knees back up. using your abdominals or using your hands, and let your knees drop to the opposite side. Gaze goes to the opposite side. And then slowly lifting up the knees again. Bring them in your chest. And then straighten out and roll over to your tummy. We're setting up for a few long, relaxing holds. We're coming into crocodile first. Stack your hands on top of each other and bring the forehead to rest. Let your heels fall where they are, your legs, and just breathe and start relaxing in this pose and letting everything go. Just let everything go. Slowing it down. Coming in a few restorative poses. Coming to stillness in this crazy time, sometimes Halloween. Breathe into your back, feeling the breath traveling up and down the spine. Thoughts come, just let them go, and just focus on your breath. Just rest in stillness. We don't have much stillness in this crazy time of Halloween and all the other holidays coming up. So let's enjoy a few moments of stillness with these poses. And slowly turn your head to the right side on the right cheek. Bring your arms out, kind of like in a 90-degree angle, like in a scarecrow. And pull your right knee up. Your right foot can be maybe a few inches to a foot away from the left. Coming into a supine tree. Can always use a blanket or a pillow underneath your head. Keep your gaze soft or your eyes closed. And I'm gliding the right foot back out, turning the head to the other side, resting the other cheek on the mat, and gliding the left foot up into a belly down tree pose. And I'm gliding the right left leg back out, pushing ourselves up here, and coming into child's pose. Bring your knees together, head down, arms beside, let everything drop open here. Breathing, and you might notice a difference between this child's pose and the first one we took in our practice today. And then we'll bring our hands besides the body, rolling up and making our way back on our back, taking one of our blocks or pillows or whatever you have with you. And then also, if you have a bolster or a rolled up blanket and a pillow, be nice. We need two things, one for our spine and one thing for our legs. So I keep two next to me here. And then rolling on our backs. Planting the feet, hips width apart, lifting up the hips, planting the block underneath our sacrum, arms besides the body, palms facing up, coming into supported bridge here. And if you like to, you can actually lift up one leg first and then the other one and come into a supported waterfall or supported shoulder stand. Purely optional, what you feel like today. Both of them are good inversion. It just makes you feel good. And then inhaling, bringing your knees, if you were up into your chest, maybe come into like a little happy baby variation before one knee touches down, one leg touches down, and the second leg touches down, and we're back in supported bridge for just a moment. Inhaling, lifting the block up, moving it out. Maybe bring your feet about mats width apart, windshield wipering the feet back and forth. Arms in a T, come into another little twist variation here. Gaze follows opposite side where knees drop. Just a little bit more spine, sacral mobility here. Inhaling, knees up. Moving into the other side. Then coming back up, and we're setting up for our last pose of the day. A supported little opening Shavasana. Bring your rolled up blanket or a bolster or pillow to the top third of your mat and bring the other one where about your knees are. And come and roll, sit yourself so you can drape yourself over the first row. Head should be on the blanket with a little bit of opening through the spine here, throat opening. And the second blanket is underneath your knees for some support for your lower back here. If that is not comfortable, you can always come into a normal Shavasana. And we're just going to rest here a few moments in stillness to integrate our practice today. Just focus on your breath, the inhale, the exhale. There's absolutely no doing. Relax through your jaw, relax through your forehead. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hands. Relax your chest. Relax your hips, your thighs, your knees, your ankles, your feet. Totally relaxed. Melting away, melting into the ground. Just anchor yourself with your breath, observing the in and the out without controlling or interfering. This is for some the hardest part of the practice, to come to total stillness. And then slowly deepen the breath. Maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And move over to your favorite side. Come up into a seated position. Let's take one more deep breath and inhale and exhale together. Inhaling up, hands come together, exhaling through the middle. Namaste, ladies. I hope you enjoyed the practice, and I hope you're going to be relaxed for Halloween now and have lots and lots and lots of fun. I'm going to stop the recording now.